Hi, this brief video is to tell you a little bit about New Car Sell-Off. What we are is a web portal where new car dealers and premium dealers advertise their new and used vehicles. Our platform is a little different than the likes of AutoTrader. We rank the used cars according to the quality, and the new cars are ranked according to the biggest discount. We're a little different in the fact that we do also show monthly payments, and we do also show the amount of discount that a car's got. Something that again is quite different from comparable sites that are out there. The chat is found on two special spots on our web portal. One is found on the details page, and one is found on the results page. This is considered the results page where we're looking right now. So typically the questions that will come off the results page will have to do with how to search for a vehicle. So when you do find a question come up, it'll typically come in this area, and what will happen is somebody will say, well, I'm not quite sure how to get the advanced search options to work. There's a button here where you can click less options or more options to further refine the search. If somebody wants to search by location, they can. Everything here is pretty self-explanatory, but typically what happens is the client that comes to the site has trouble seeing stuff. We've got the ability to filter by a bunch of different things. So if you look at the pagination up at the top here, there's there's about 10 different ways to filter the cars that are on the site in different formats that may be more applicable to the user. Some of the other things that we've got, My Garage is a place where the dealership or where the customer can store all of their vehicles so that they don't have to find a spot and write it down. So as they search through the inventory, they can click Save to My Garage, which is located over on the listing itself. And what will happen is it'll start to save in their garage. So when you click on the garage, you can see all the cars that I've saved as I've been searching through the site. Now the other spot that you may be able to find, or you will find the request for search or request for chat is on the results page. So this is what we call the results page, and what it is basically the full description of the vehicle. A lot of questions will happen with regards to where the dealership is. So right at the top of the screen we've got where this dealership is. In this one, in this situation, this refers to it is in Duncan, BC. And if they want to know the address, they can click this button that says Get the Directions. And the reason that we've done this is so that, for a number of reasons. Number one, to provide a better experience for the consumer that comes to our site, but also we track that click there so that we're able to determine whether or not somebody's maybe potentially going to be driving in there and actually physically having a look at the vehicle. We've got a couple other things up here that they may have troubles using. Reviews. If you want to have a review written about a dealership, or if there's a review written about the dealership, they can click on this button and see all the potential reviews about the dealership. So in this scenario, there's been no reviews left about this dealership, so there's nothing to read about. But if they want to write a review, they can either do it through here, or they can actually go up here and write a review doing it that way. The purpose of the chat is to encourage engagement. So the areas that we encourage engagements are, or we want to see engagements in, is the phone numbers or the phone calls right here. So when you're talking to people, one of the things that we want you to do is encourage them to either phone the dealership, to text the dealership, to send off an email to the dealership. If they're interested in financing the vehicle, we want to encourage that as well, and this is another form of engagement, to fill out a credit application. If they want to buy the vehicle, this is another place where the engagement can take place. They click that button, that's an engagement. If they want to email to a friend, that really isn't an engagement, but that's something that you can encourage as well. But those are the areas that we want to really encourage the customer that comes to our site to work on and engage in. So if you in fact have a customer that you're talking to on the chat, try to push them into making a phone call, an email, or a text message. The best and most trackable source for us, in fact, is the email. So if you can encourage emails as much as possible, that is a definite big plus for us. And if they don't, then please try to encourage the phone calls. It's hard to track the phone calls as a conversion from the chat, whereas we can see directly that possibly an email has occurred from the chat. So again, the chat or the email is probably our best source of conversion, so that's what we want to encourage you to do. Questions now again regarding the vehicle may come up. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, we've got all the equipment listing, all the vehicle description here, any equipment, additional information about it, and what the warranty is. You may have, in fact, a client that will call in and say, does this vehicle have power windows and power locks? It may be not visible under this write-up that's here. So what we want you to do is encourage them again to take a moment and do an email to the dealership and ask that question. Again, that's a form of engagement that the dealership now can track, get back at, and get back on the customer regarding the inquiry he's made. Other similar vehicles that are out there. Now, in the event that the customer is looking at this vehicle and he wants to see what other stuff is out there, this is the dealership's other similar inventory area here. So if they click on it, they can in fact see other vehicles that may be similar to what they're looking at and may in fact encourage another call to the dealership. And again, that's really what we're trying to do, get as many calls to the dealerships as possible. That's about it. Like, you can look through all the different features on here, but again, the whole purpose of our chat with the customers is to get them to engage. So more and more effort should be made in getting them to send off an email, or applying for credit, or sending for an appraisal, which is, if we've got a trade in, this is something that we didn't talk about, but they can fill this form in. If they say, well, what's my trade worth? This is an area that they can go in and fill out the details, send it into the dealership. And again, that's something that we love you to encourage the dealership or the customer to do for the dealership. And again, that's a form of engagement that we then can count. If you have any questions, please email me at rick@newcarselloff.com, and I can walk you through any questions you may have about the site. Thanks.